Hey everyone, welcome back to our new series, Prince the Lost Tapes. Today, we're talking about a film which had the idea of combining filmed scripted scenes interwoven with high-quality performance scenes of Prince and his band. Sound familiar? No, we aren't talking about Purple Rain, but it does seem likely that this was the project that laid the foundations for it. This project actually happened earlier, and it was called The Second Coming. Before we start, please help us out and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell for notifications if you haven't already. You can also like the video and leave us a comment. All of these things help us support this channel. Alright, let's do it. So what was The Second Coming? Well, much like Purple Rain ended up being, this was two projects in one, an album project and a film project. However, unlike Purple Rain, the idea was to use an existing concert recording of already released songs, as opposed to writing and performing new songs for the project. The show in question was the 7th of March 1982 show held at the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. Bloomington itself is a suburban city just south of Minneapolis, but for all intents and purposes is basically the greater Minneapolis area, being as it occupies much of the area immediately adjacent to the south and southwest of Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport. If you've ever flown into Minneapolis Airport, and you've been right by that. And that show was a fairly typical show of the Controversy Tour, comprised mostly of the more well-known songs from the first four Prince albums. Songs like I Wanna Be Your Lover, Dirty Mind, Controversy, Private Joy, Let's Work, Do Me Baby, and more all appeared in the set that night, which was professionally shot on 16mm film for the purposes of being used in this movie. However, what was different here was that Prince also filmed scripted scenes with two of his female companions at the time, Kim Upshur and future Vanity 6 and Apollonia 6 member Susan Moonsey. Of course, both of them would also end up in Purple Rain, with Kim Upshur having a small walk-on role and Susan there as a member of Apollonia 6. Now, these scenes for The Second Coming were shot at Prince's house by director Chuck Statler, known for his work with Devo, and his entry into the Prince world had already happened when he directed the video for Cool by the time. As Zach Hoskins notes in his blog post about the project, very little is really known about the contents of the scripted scenes, and I'd agree with his description from the leaked photos and small clips we have seen that it seems to resemble an expensive boudoir video more so than a fully fledged film as Prince would later go on to make. I also think it's accurate that it more resembles the much later Sign of the Times concert movie more so than it resembles Purple Rain. The non-musical segments from what we know seem to be more akin to the short, skeletal story interlude pieces shown in that film compared to the actual narrative-driven movie of Purple Rain. Effectively, a concert movie with some non-musical interludes, as opposed to a story-driven movie punctuated and driven forward through musical performances. One thing that is worth noting is that the song The Second Coming, which opened the shows on the tour and presumably opened the film project too, remains unreleased but can be heard on YouTube. It's perhaps a bit of a stretch to call it a song, more of an a cappella introduction, not dissimilar from the opening of Prince's debut album For You. And it also shares some DNA with what would become the intro to Purple Rain, the spoken word introduction to Let's Go Crazy. So it's really interesting to see the continuation of this DNA. It seems that in whatever form Prince was going to make a movie, he did have an idea in his head of it opening with a spoken word section. Now, as would often happen over the years, it seems that Prince simply lost interest and quickly moved on. It remains unclear whether any form of editing was even done to link the live footage with the interludes, but this seems unlikely. Based on this, and with the unlikelihood of there being any information surviving about how exactly this film should have been sequenced, it's perhaps very unlikely that we will ever see a release of The Second Coming as Prince intended it. However, both the full concert film and the filmed scenes would be perfect candidates to be released on a hypothetical Controversy Super Deluxe set. Are you listening, Estate? Would you be interested in seeing The Second Coming in any form? Or is this a project that should probably remain in the vault? Leave us a comment and let us know. Thanks for watching. My name is Casey Rain, we are The Violet Reality, and we'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and like this video if if you enjoyed it. Until next time, peace and be wild.
Hi, I'm Elisa Fiorillo, and you're watching The Violet Reality on YouTube. All things Prince!